Hey guys, in this video we're going to build a really simple application with HTML5 and a little bit of JavaScript, and we're just going to basically have a note that we can edit and we can save in local storage. Alright, and we're also going to use some of the newer HTML tags. So in our body here, let's go ahead and add a header, and the header is just going to have an H1, and we're just going to call this MyNote. Alright, so it's not going to be a list, it's basically going to be one note that you can constantly update. So something really important that you have to do or remember, something like that. Alright, and then let's create a container for our note. I'm going to give this div an ID of container. Actually, instead of div, let's use section, which is an HTML5 element. Okay, and in here we'll put the div, and we'll give it an ID of note. Alright, and this is gonna be editable, so we want to put in the attribute content editable and set that to true. Alright, and then we'll close that up, and then under the section we'll have a footer. Okay, it's going to be a very simple interface, and in the footer we're going to have, let's put in a div, and in this div I want to have a link. Okay, and it's not going to go to anything, it's actually going to activate some JavaScript. We're going to give it a class of clear, and let's say clear. I'll just say clear note. Alright, and then after that div, we'll put in our paragraph, which will just be the copyright really. We'll say MyNote copy 2016. Alright, so let's go ahead and save that. Okay, doesn't look like much. What we're going to do now is up in the head area, we're going to put in a script tag. And we're going to have two functions. So we're going to have a function called getNote, which will be responsible for fetching it. And then we're also going to have a function called saveNote, which will be responsible for saving it. Alright, now inside getNote, we first want to check to see if the local storage item is there. So we'll say if local storage dot get item, and we'll call this note. Okay, so if it's there, then we're going to set a variable called note, and we're going to set it to that local storage get item. Okay, and then we'll do an else. So if it's not there, then we're still going to create a note variable, and we're just going to put a message. We'll just say go ahead and edit this note to save in local storage, and you could write whatever you want here. Alright, and then under the if statement here, we're going to say document dot get element by ID, and that ID is going to be note, and then we just want to add dot inner HTML and set that to whatever is in note. Alright, so let's save that, and now it's not showing anything because we created the function but we didn't run it, so we're going to run it down here. We'll say script, and oops, then let's just say get note. Okay, that should run it. Save, and now you can see that the note is now displaying, and I can go ahead and edit it, but if I reload it, it goes right back because we haven't done anything to save the note in local storage yet. So let's go into save note, and that's actually going to take an ID, And in here we're going to say var note, set that to document dot get element by ID, note, and let's see, we want what's in the HTML, so we're going to say inner HTML. Alright, and then we'll say local storage dot set item, and we want to set note to the variable note. Alright, and that's it for the save note function. Now we want this save note to run whenever we start to type in the note. So let's go into this div right here that has the ID of note, and we're going to add on key up, which means, you know, when we type on key up, then it's going to run save note, and we're going to pass in this dot ID, just like that. So if we save and reload, let's say test, and then if we reload, you can see it still says test. Okay, so it's now being saved in local storage. If we were to look at our console and go down to local storage, you can see right here note test. All right, we still have the name here from a couple videos back. Okay, so that saves. Now we want to be able to clear this by clicking the clear link here. So down in our A tag, we're going to put an on click, and in here let's say we'll say JavaScript clear note. Alright, so that'll run a function called clear note. So we're going to go and let's create that up here. I was going to do it inline, but I think this looks a little neater. Alright, so let's say clear local storage dot clear, and we just want to return false so that we don't actually try and follow a link, and that should do it. This local storage clear will just clear everything in your local storage. So let's save that, and now if we click that, let's see if we're getting any errors or anything. Okay, so there we go. Alright, now I'm not sure why it's not clearing right away. We click it and then reload and it clears. I think if we remove that, that might do it. Let's try it. There we go. Alright, so you just want to get that hash symbol out of there. So now we can just clear it. Good. So our functionality's there. Now I do want to make this look a little better, so let's go ahead and add a little bit of style. Alright, so let's say body, we'll say font, family, let's use Tahoma, and set a line height of 1.6 m and a background of, let's do light gray. Alright, and then we'll do header, footer. I just want to center those, so we'll say text align center, and the container, which is we want to have a width of, let's say, 480. Actually, let's do 400. And margin, I want to do 50 from the top, and then auto on the sides because I want it to be in the middle. Background, we're going to do a hexadecimal, which will be FFFFA5, which is the same color as a sticky note. And let's say overflow hidden, and 30 pixels of padding. Okay, and then for the the clear button. I think we have a class on that. Yeah, class equals clear, so we'll say dot clear, and I just want to remove text decoration and set a background of dark gray, a color of white, and a padding of 10 pixels. Let's save that, reload, and there we go. So if we go ahead and edit this, okay, and if we reload, it'll stay. Okay, the only way it's going to change is if we change it or if we clear it out. Alright, and of course you can have whatever you want there, just edit this. Alright, so very, very simple application, but it does implement certain aspects of HTML5. In the next part, we're going to get into CSS a little bit more than we've been doing, so I will see you then.